Hey, it's Mark with Mark's Virtual Real Estate Channel. We're back with another Upland video, and today I'm going to be talking about investing for yield and how to get the most bang for your buck if your goal is making as much rent or yield on the properties you own as you can. Now, I'll also update you on some of the nodes that we have, the lazy nodes, and see how some of the other nodes are doing that I am not a part of, or maybe I have some properties in them, but I'm not part of running them or anything. And we might check on prices just a little bit too and see how things are doing here. It's been a little while since Upland did the Queen's release, and things are kind of settling in. And I feel like when things start to settle in and prices start to rise, that's usually when they announce a new city. So we'll see if that happens anytime soon. Now, we love the likes, love the comments, love the shares. Keep those coming. And I have my real estate channel, Invest for More, where I go over my flips, rentals, commercial properties, businesses, things like that. And got some interesting things going on there. Bought a couple of new properties last week. Buy another big property here in a little while. Have a liquor store, mini mart, a bar that I've been showing a lot of as well there too. All right, so I've talked about flipping properties in Upland. Upland has, if you're new to it, you can buy actual lots in real life that are kind of like in a virtual game, but these are real lots, and you can see what the property is. It's pretty cool. That's a neat property. I'm a sucker for old brick buildings. So, and then you can collect rent on them based on what Upland decides rents will be, and you can flip them, sell them. I've made a lot of money flipping, but I know some people are more concerned with yield and just collecting money as well. So if you can see, I clicked down here. I'm just going to show you. If I go to properties, we can see my net worth is $10,600,000 UPIX, which is like $10,000 US dollars, about the equivalent if I were to cash everything out, maybe a little less than that. And I have $780,000 in liquid funds, $9,800,000 in property value, and I'm collecting $64,300 UPIX per month. And so basically, if we get our calculator out, here's an easy way to figure what that is in real dollars, sort of. It's a little tricky. Divide that by 1,000, and you get $64 a month is about what I'm making. And I've spent maybe, $3,500 on the game, I think, if you count the Spark I've bought. So if we multiply this by 12, so I make that per month, multiply it by 12 to get my yearly earnings, divide it by 3,500, we'll say. That's a 22% return on the money I've invested into the game, assuming I could get that out at exactly 1,000 UPIX per dollar, which may or may not happen. But that just gives you a real rough idea of what I'm getting from just yield right now. But I don't focus on yield. Upland right now has it set up where you make 14% on the minted price of properties you own. So if you're new to Upland, when they release a city, when there's properties that have never been bought by anybody yet, you can mint them. And when you mint them, you pay the price, like the build price. And Upland will pay you 14% per year of that mint price. Well, you can sell properties for more, sometimes less. And if you go buy properties for more on the secondary market, obviously that percentage goes down because you're not paying the mint price anymore. So for example, let's say you buy a property for 20,000 UPIX and you multiply that by 0.14. I think it's 0.144, but we'll just do 0.14 to make it easy. That means you'd make 2,800 UPIX per year. Divide it by, whoa, what just happened? I did a percentage. Hold on a second. Divide it by 12, 233 UPIX per month, assuming you got it for mint price. But if you paid $40,000 for that property in the secondary market, you're still going to get 233 per month, or 2,800 per year, which means, let's do 2,800 divided by 40. This should come out at 7. That's half of that, right? We doubled the price. That makes your yield drop in half. So my yield on my account is not going to be 14% because I have a lot of properties I paid well more than mint price for. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Collections, nodes, different things, speculation, all kinds of reasons go into why I did that. So if I took my account, 10,622,934, and I multiplied it by 0.14, so, whoops, I have an extra 0 in there. There we go. This would be how much I would make each month if my yield was each year. Sorry, if my yield was exactly 14%, the only money I spent was on minting properties, I would have 1,487,000 coming in a year, and 123,934 coming in every month. So obviously, I'd have pretty much double. And people would say, well, why didn't you just buy mint properties? You'd be making so much more. Well, I said I put 3,000, maybe 3,500 into the game. A lot of that was Spark, so it wasn't just directly buying properties. It was buying Spark, which allows you to build on properties. My net worth is way higher than that because I flip properties, because I've been able to buy and sell for less and sell for high. And that has allowed me to build my money more than what I put directly into it. So had I just bought properties, let's say I bought $3,000 worth of minted properties, which would be $3 million, and multiply that by 0.14. Oh, I didn't do it right again, did I? I keep wanting to put a 0 in there. Then I have 420,000 UPX a year and 35,000 a month. So even though my yield, I know there's a lot of math there. Sorry if it went too fast. Basically, what I'm saying is by flipping properties and building up the value of my properties, this property value here, and be able to buy low, sell high, keep buying, I'm able to have more UPX per month than if I just bought everything for mint, right? So that's why I flip and do that, even though I still have a smaller yield than I would have. I have much more money to work with, which in the long run makes me more money. Now, I still look for yield sometimes, or maybe if I am going to buy in collections or different places, I'll look for the best deals on yield. And I know some of you just care about yield, not as much flipping, so I want to talk about that here. So there's a few strategies that people can use on this. And I'm always welcome to hear other people's strategies as well, because I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers. And I learn a lot from the comments. So please comment if you have any suggestions or ideas. But one thing to look at for yield, obviously collections play a part. And actually, before I go to here, I'm going to show some collection stuff. Because collections increase your yield. We're in Los Angeles. Let's go to Queens. Or even Bronx. What should we do? Queens or Bronx? We'll do Queens. Okay. So, every city you buy in has a bonus for having 3 properties in that city. So, right? So, if you own 3 properties in a city, make sure they're in a collection because it boosts your yield by 25%. So, if I had, property that was making 200 UPX a month, and I put it in that collection, now all of a sudden we're making 250 a month. We multiply it by 25. So obviously if you can make more, right, you should have them in collections. So I'll talk about strategy here in just a second on which properties to put in there. But you can see the collection values go up. Obviously everyone should have one property in a newbie, and I probably have the complete wrong property in there, but anyway, I can evaluate that at some time to increase my UPX per month, but that's for another day. King of the Street, having 3 properties on the same street. Again, hopefully most people have that. City Pro, that's having 5 properties in the same city. Again, I should evaluate that because I wonder where my properties are. Oh, they're in the Bronx. Okay. I could probably make a lot more UPX if those properties were in California. I wonder what 547. Not bad. Is this in a collection? Where is this? Oh, it's in Mott Haven. Okay. So, but that was I bought it for 79, but it probably minted for around 40, 50. Mott Haven was very expensive minting compared to the rest of the Bronx. Okay, so you should have your properties in those collections, obviously. And then you can see I have some other properties here. I can put that. Oh, it's part of my other collection. So that's why this is part of probably my city collection. That's why it won't let me move it unless I take it out of the other collection. I don't have 3 properties in Long Island, so I'll just leave it like that. Hollis Hills, Kew Gardens. And you can see I'm not super stressed about having 3 in all of them because it's a little bit of a boost here. but again, not a ton. So let's show you just how much of a boost it would have if I went to, well, we'll pick the most expensive one, Kew Gardens, and if I bought 3 more properties, I'd probably be spending 30,000 UPIX, and they'd probably mint for, here, we'll show you exactly. Why don't we just show you the math? Queens, go to Kew Gardens, and we'll see what kind of properties I can buy there right now. 29,000, so right around 30,000. You can see these all minted for 4,000 to 6,000 though. So our yield is based off that price. So we'll just pick an easy and say 5,000 times 0.14. That's our yield per year on those properties divided by 12. 58 UPIX a month. So if I bought 2 more properties, that means I'd get 116 more UPIX per month from those properties. And then I already have the property I own in Kew Gardens, which is right there, right? Yes. Let's see what it... Well, I won't even be able to see the mint price because I bought it in the secondary market. But let's see how big it is. 26. So yeah, it's in that same range too, probably 5,000. So we go back to my calculator and we add just another 58. So we have 3 properties in there. They make 174 per month. Now, go back to my collection. And what is the bonus? Kew Gardens is 88% bonus, 1.88. So if we go back to my calculator, multiply that by 1.88, we go from 174 UPIX to 327 UPIX a month. Now, we might say, well, you just doubled. You doubled your UPIX per month. Why is that not a big deal? Well, because I had to spend. So remember that. We increased our UPIX by... So it's basically making 60 UPIX per month with 1 property, or 327 with 3. So let's take 327 minus 60. Again, the math is there. We added 267 UPIX, which is 3,204 a year. Now I had to pay $60,000 for those new properties, 60,000 UPIX. Maybe a little more after fees, maybe 62. So we divide that by 62. 5% gain, a 0.05% return on those properties because we had to pay so much more than mint price. So is that worth it to just do that for a collection? Maybe to some people, maybe not to others. You can see something else to consider is I haven't collected my bonus yet, so I get another 3,400 UPIX for my bonus, add some return to it. But I'm not super worried about filling out all my collections and getting all those always filled, because it's only a 5% return for the whole year. Whereas if I can flip 1 property and make 3,200 UPIX in it, which I can do in a week or a couple weeks, I can make that in that short time period. So that's why I'm more focused on flipping than yield. I know I keep getting off track. But if you are thinking about yield, this is something to think about is, okay, which properties have the best gain and what's their price to pay based on their mint price. So what we can do here is, right, I'm going to come here, I'm going to select most of the just low value collections. And let's say I already filled my city collection, so I've got that little bonus. Now I'm looking for the best ways to get a bonus on other properties in the area and collections. And I'll sort this by markup. This is upexland.me, by the way. Upexland.me if you want to go there. And I can search by, hopefully that says Queens if my picture's in the way. Below it we search for sale, sort by markup. We have all these collections, so it'll pull up all of these properties and then it'll search by markup. So it'll give me the, look at this is pretty interesting. Are those in collections? What collections are these in? That didn't pull up right. What happened here? Oh, I have Queens marked. That's why. Okay. I'm like, this isn't right. This is not right. Okay. So, Here we go. That's better. So now you can see the markup. I don't know why it didn't sort by markup right there. So we can see, if we go to Long Island City, we can buy a property at 100% markup right now. Now they're expensive, right? They're very expensive here. Oh, there's a cheap one at 109% in Astoria. 18,000 in Astoria. So these properties, if we go to our collection again, I know I'm all over the place, we can go to Astoria and see, okay, their markup is 37%, 1.37. This markup is 109% plus your 5% buying fee, basically 114% markup. You can buy this property in these collections. If you have 3 of them, you'll end up getting a higher yield than if you're just buying regular properties. So there is opportunity to buy in collections and make more than just buying regular properties. So let's say we go to Queens and, you've got 19,244 is your mint price times 0.14. You're making, we're going to say 2,700 a year just to make it very easy. And you multiply it by 1.37. So you're actually going to make 3,700 a year in UPIX, and you're paying, where was it? 21,000 plus 5%. You're basically paying 22,000 for it. So divide that by 22,000 UPIX. You're making 16, almost 17% on this purchase by purchasing a collection. So if you're looking for yield, you don't have to buy, super dirt cheap properties in Nashville, or just buy regular properties in Queens that aren't in collections. You can go to collections and find markups like that for relatively cheap properties even, where you're still making more money than a regular property. So that's something to think about. And then you can see here, if you want to go by each neighborhood, Long Island City has some really low market properties, but they're very, very expensive. Now, if your whole goal is yield, and you don't care about flipping, you don't care about having UPIX available to buy stuff, right? This can be a good opportunity to dump a whole lot of money into a property, and you're only allowed 3 properties in that collection, right? So you can't just keep adding properties and keep upping that yield. You can only do 3 properties. So if you only care about yield and not having your money anywhere else, buy the really expensive ones, and then you can have 3 really expensive properties in there, all collecting the bonus, instead of just having 3 real small ones, then having to find another collection, another city, another collection, another city. Just remember, when you do that, it can be hard to exit out of those properties because the really expensive properties just tend to sell slowly. That's why their markup is so low. You can buy a 2.5 million UPIX property, right? So there's all kinds of opportunities there. And then, if you don't care about flipping and you just want to know, okay, where can I get the most yield from? Then, obviously Long Island City has a 1.84% markup, whereas Astoria has a 1.37. So if you're comparing Long Island versus Astoria, obviously if you only care about yield, you want to be buying in Long Island because they have a higher bonus compared to what their markup is. And Forest Hills has a very low, the lowest markup, I believe. And so this gives you an idea of where you want to buy in your collections if you want to get the biggest bang for your buck. So hopefully that makes some sense. Now, I'm going to go back here one more time. If we get rid of all these, you could just buy properties in Queens, right? Let's just buy the cheapest properties we can find, 92% markup. Again, you're paying another 5% to buy this property, so you're buying it below mint. But because you don't have that bonus, you're still going to be making less than buying in those collection areas and collecting the bonus if you have 3 and you just keep them there. Plus, you'll get the bonus for the collection if you have it in there long enough. So there's a couple different thoughts of this. Now you can go to different cities. I always mention Nashville because that's one of the cheapest properties. Let's see what their markups are. If you really want to just invest for yield, you can go to Nashville. You can buy property for 78% of markup right now. So that means, right, a lot of people say, well, why would you buy in the secondary market? You always mint. Not if you can buy a property that's already been minted for 78% of mint price. That's like having a 1.2% bonus, without doing any collection, anything at all. So if you want to make, let's do the math real quick. let's see, we'll make our numbers easier here. We'll say the mint price is 350,000 times 0.14, 49,000 a year. Now let's say you buy that property for plus 10%, 290, divide it by 290. You're making 16.8% right off the bat right there. Now you can do some other stuff here, and you can actually search here. We're going by markup. Is that in collection? Oh, yeah. So you can buy it 92% in Priest Lake, in Madison, and get a collection bonus there. So you can buy below mint in Nashville, then on top of it, get a collection bonus, get that same 17, 18% yield in that area if you're really looking for yield. So you can do this same analysis in each city to kind of see where the best markups are for getting that collection bonus. I'm going to show you one more here real quick, and then I'm going to be done. One neighborhood I love and doesn't get enough love in my opinion is Mott Haven in Bronx. I have a lot of properties there because they're super high mint. They were a pretty decent collection, yellow. They weren't a standard. And markup is 147, 153. I think it's gone up some. There were some way lower than this, but you can see the markups there. And then if we go back to Bronx and look at the 100% increase, 101% increase on properties you buy here. Look at these. And now, yes, some of them are expensive, but if you're just parking your money and you don't care about getting it out easily and fast, right? Let's do the math again really quick. I'm doing a lot of math. Mint price is 15 times 0.14, 210,000. You're able to buy this property for 5%, about 2-3 million. Oh, I did not. Oh, right, yes. That's your mint. Hold on, I didn't do it right. Go back to, this is my yield per year. Multiply that by 2.01. There we go. That's our yield per year after the collection. Divide that by 18%. 18% in a pretty good collection. But again, it's a very high dollar property. Still be hard to sell. And there were some, if you keep your eyes open, you might find some better deals. There were some way below that markup before last time I checked too. But there's ways to make more than that 14% with the right strategies and properties. Okay. I know I've gone through a lot. Real quick, the Lazy Nodes are doing great. So I want to thank my daily check-in. Look at that. Yes, I want to check in. I've done this 3 times now, and each time I've gotten 0.01 spark. So it's nice to have a little bonus, but still not crazy. All right, Neponset, still building here. For those of you who watched my video last time, I made the offer on the property for 31,000 UPIX. It was accepted, so it worked. When I made the offer to exchange properties, that was rejected. That didn't work kind of how I expected it. But just because the floor is a certain price doesn't mean you can't buy below that floor with offers sometimes. And that's what I wanted to show there. So I'm just going to show you what Neponset prices are here. We started everything at about 27,000. 38,000. Oh, they've risen unless... Oh, no. Nope, they haven't. Okay. So there's another decent deal in there. Again, you might be able to get in a little low or make them an offer. In the Detroit, we have our other node in Detroit. I want to see what the prices are there real quick. I know I'd say I would do some other stuff in this video, but I lied because I've gone way longer than I thought. All right, 22,000 in Detroit, Henry Ford, our other node. So things are still sticking right around there. I think I just picked one up for 20,000 that came up that's pretty cheap. So I just keep my eyes on those and keep buying properties when they show up cheap. And I'm still building properties. Have 1 build in Henry Ford, 2 in Neponset going on. They're getting closer to being done. So thank you everyone who has helped me out with those and supported me there. I think we're 9 days away now. Yep. And I do prefer having one at a time going and just stick all my spark into that one. But I wanted to see how it worked having 3 at once and kind of spreading it out. But next time I think I'll just do one at a time and go that route. All right. That's my video. Hopefully that makes sense on yield and kind of how to figure yield. And if you're really going to maximize that, collections can be a great way to do it. property areas like Nashville can be a great way to do it. If you don't care about flipping, if you have too much UPEX and you don't know what to do with it, the more expensive properties you buy, kind of the more you can use those collections with 3 properties than, 3 really cheap properties. So hopefully all that made sense. If you have questions, please leave them below. We'll be back with more videos here coming up soon. And again, love the comments, love the likes, love the shares. Thanks a lot.